Hello and welcome back to the Pub Test Podcast, round 17 review. Me and Tommy C going at it.
Hi.
We got some big stories this week, jam-packed.
There's a few bits to talk about. I think usually we start with the round review, but I think we're going to go a bit different.
Yeah, well, we got some news from last week that we obviously recorded on the Monday, and the Tuesday, of course.
We always record on the Tuesday, but because of me, I was busy on Tuesday like we do Monday instead. And then, of course, some massive news comes out the next day. Bloody hell, so convenient. But, yeah, there's a bit to talk about from last week. It might seem like old news, but we have to touch on it.
Definitely, it's relevant to this round. Suddenly, that team got a perk, the coach's perk.
The new coast bounce.
Caroline Wilson was right. How's it feel?
I hate that so much. I think Corey put in our group chat like, God, I hate when Caroline Wilson's right. Yeah. She got hammered. She said that because she made that story a week ago, the week before, and got hammered. Drew came out and slammed her. Yeah. Someone from Gold Coast, one of the president, whatever, chairman, whatever, slammed her. She was spot on.
Oh,
she was spot on.
Did not miss.
It is weird, though, that they came out in defence of Stuart Drew and then a week later sack him. There's no way they sacked him after... I'm not sure they played. They played someone that they were never going to beat.
Port. They played Port.
They were never
and they were up at half-time.
So that's surprising they're even up at half-time. They were never ever they couldn't sack him after losing to Port because they were actually good in that game. So they had to know before that, when that story came out, they'd sacked him. So it's just weird they came out and defended him for a week.
Yeah. No sacking is going to go perfect. Let's be honest here, but no sacking is going to be perfect. No. Like, it's not going to end well. But to me, it was handled really poorly. Like, why not, instead of defending, say, we've got a meeting coming up, we're going to decide, not that job's up for grabs, but decide where the club's going in the future.
Review.
Yeah, review. But don't adamantly come out and say his job is safe like they did, just because Caroline Wilson called it. Like, just...
Yeah.
Play straight back and just say we're going to have it. We've got a board meeting next Monday. There may be some things come from that, but everyone's under review because we're not in the position we want to be in. Just keep it that.
Exactly right. There's just no way they're like, lost to Port or have to sack him now. Like,
up at half time.
I don't think they could have asked so much more against one of the best side that won 12 in a row. You were not beating Port. No. So you should be happy with that performance. The Collingwood one was a bad one. Again, they weren't expected to beat Collingwood, but the way it happened warranted the scrutiny because they got absolutely murdered.
Definitely.
The Port one was all right.
I thought. Port only played one good quarter of footy.
The third quarter. They blew away in the third quarter. That was literally, they played one quarter of footy against Gold Coast and won. So, I think Stuart Drew's a bit stiff, but as we're about to talk about, when a certain Damien Hardwick is available, one of the best we talked about a few weeks ago, I think, but when a certain Damien Hardwick's available, I think I can understand why. So I think Damien Hardwick's almost $1.01 now to coach Gold Coast.
Well, they're not going to go with an experienced coach, surely.
I don't think they're sacking Stuart Drew for an experienced coach. I don't think so.
Do you reckon a little bit... Have you heard the Dylan Friends podcast? The Dimmer interview?
Yes. It was like 2 weeks after...
Yeah, like 2 weeks
It was
ago.
2 weeks after he said he was too tired. Comes out and says, I'm ready to coach again. So Kane Corns has very strong opinions on it. And everyone hates Kane because this is fun to hate Kane. He's not wrong that if for a bloke that's worn out and tired, 2 weeks later say I'm ready again, it's a little sus. It's a little bit weird.
Yeah. I think he was probably just didn't want to do it anymore.
He didn't want to coach Richmond anymore.
Well, I think he was worn out and tired and then realised, I've got enough to give. I've still got more to give. I wasn't worn out and tired. I was just over, it was 10 years.
Worn out and tired at Richmond. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had enough in one area and I've coached this group enough.
Which is completely understandable, but it is... Kane is right. That is a bit weird that you're so worn out, you need a rest, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later, I'm ready again. But I think it's great for the AFL that Dimmo coaches Gold Coast. We need Gold Coast to be good.
He's not got the job yet.
He's gonna coach. No, he basically is, Fletch. If they've sacked Stuart Drew for someone that we've never heard of, I'll be utterly shocked. Dimmo will do it, and I think the AFL will be pushing for it because it's good for the AFL. Because we've seen Giants haven't won a flag, but they made a grand final. We see they're a good side. We've never seen Gold Coast be a great side. So I think it's great for the AFL if Gold Coast become relevant. And especially with this Tassie team coming, I think AFL fans need to see that these expansion clubs do work, in my opinion. So I think Dimmo will do. I think the AFL will kind of, not under the table money, because there's no corruption involved, but I think the AFL will be pushing hard for it.
That would be, what figure... That would be giving him a blank check and you fill in the dots.
I think so. And especially because Brendan Gale might get an AFL role, and I think obviously Brendan Gale and Dimmer Hardwick some sort of partnership. So I think I'm expecting them to name Hardwick by the end of the season. I'll be shocked if they don't, and it'll be yeah, I think Stuart Drew's already stiff. He'll be absolutely robbed if they go with inexperience.
So he's already at the Ashes?
That's gross. That happens all the time. I say every coach that gets sacked has a job within like a few days and like some rogue, like it's weird. But that was cool because Stuart Drew looks like a grouse bloke. He looks like he's one of us. You know, it's the big dad bod. Like, he just looks like he'd slammed down a few pies of the footy. Like, he just looks like a grouse bloke.
He's a bit of a funny one. Dimmer, straightaway coach. I do believe they will be pushing for Dimmer. It'll be interesting whether he wants to move his whole family up there and everything like that. Like, that'll be it's a big life change to get away up there. The other one is Ken Hinkley, if he gets sacked from Port Adelaide.
We won't get sacked. I think it'll more be.
Or not.
They don't offer him enough money.
Yeah.
So I think.
You don't reckon they offer him enough money?
Well, not enough money. The years, because I was looking at Footy Classified, and there's no way they don't offer him a contract. Like the way they're going, they have to offer him a contract, but it might only be like a 2-year deal, but then Gold Coast offer him 5. So that security might be worth making the jump. There's no way if they're offering the same amount of years, he's leaving a premiership contender for a Gold Coast Suns side who hasn't played finals yet.
If they're I think Port Adelaide give him a contract, no matter, as long as it's not 1 year, that's almost disrespectful. Then he'll take it no matter what. It would be disrespectful,
yeah. It would be disrespectful.
But they've given the target. This is interesting. They've given the target of August. This is Port Adelaide for Ken Hinkley to re-sign.
Ages ago.
But that's not, to me. It's good what they've done this season, but they've done this on and off for the last 2 or 3 years, or last 5 or 6 years. Made good runs at this, like been minor premiers a couple of times since 2015, and not really proven in finals. So it's kind of almost a little bit. The deadline needs to be pushed back till the end of finals, in my opinion.
I agree. No, I do agree because I think it's a weird time because what happens now is either they have to re-sign him in August, and you're right that they can go out in straight sets. Now, I still think he's worthy of a contract that went out straight sets, but all of a sudden it becomes a discussion. If they don't, then the players are like, why the hell have we not re-signed a coach that have got us to 13 wins in a row? So for me, it's almost a little bit of a lose-lose. What you could say, though, they sign him, wouldn't say it galvanises the group because they're already in form. Maybe it's that little momentum booster that they need for finals. But it's a weird one because I could see more going wrong than right with this August deadline. I think you're right. They should have done it either in like June, ages ago, or do it at the end of the season because I just think that it could go way wrong. And you're right, straight sets, or they don't do it to be safe, and then the players are like, why the hell have we not re-signed our coach? He's flying. Totally
agree. I liked it, the fact that they came out and said this is a date though. Like without what we talked about Stuart Drew on the other side of the coin, it was like here, there, like it was not. This is our deadline. This is what we're looking to. Whereas if publicly said it, I just probably reckon they've got the month wrong. Just made it early or later type of thing.
1 month out, you're right. It can be a distraction. The longer it goes into August, the more a distraction it becomes.
Definitely.
But I do like, as you said, the on the front foot and said this month because even not relating to coaching stuff, injuries and that, clubs are being more and more murky about information.
Yep,
so it's just really refreshing for Koshi to come out and say that. I would have picked a different month. I would have picked a June because then, they'd re-sign him. Well, then I was less risk, so I would have done it in June personally. But, I mean, they're going to re-sign him. I'd be shocked. I think the only thing that stops him, as I said, is they only offer him 2 years and Gold Coast offer him 5. That's the only thing stopping in my opinion.
The last thing about this conversation, the board or the president came out and spoke when Stuart Drew got sacked of the Gold Coast Suns, said that they're a final side next year, or they're looking for a coach that wants a final side. One question is, do you think they're a final side? And 2, do you reckon Dimmer will walk in when he signs a check and say, you're not a final side, let's work this list to a final side, but you're not yet?
I don't think it's an easy answer to say yes or no, because they are in 13th, but I do think there's enough there to challenge. But you just look at the sides that below them, Sydney and Freo. I think most would say they have better lists than Gold Coast.
Definitely.
Adelaide, we said 2 weeks ago. We're going to talk about Adelaide later on. Adelaide were one of the top 5 sides in the comp 2 weeks ago. Carlton are flying. Richmond are not going to be this bad again.
Yep.
Giants are flying. I can't see who they replace in the 8. What I will say is they'll be more competitive, and I do think they have the list that can challenge, but I don't think it's an easy answer to say they should make the 8 because there's just so many sides that will not be this bad again.
Yeah, definitely. Like a Geelong next year. You won't have a freebie win. They beat Geelong round 4 or 5. Yeah. Round 3, I think.
Yeah, they did. They did.
So that's a loss straight away. So, anyway, I'm a bit the same. I don't think their list is quite... I think they got 18 good players can play finals. But the moment they get an injury or that bottom 6 is nowhere near a final standard of AFL, unfortunately.
The gap between the best and their worst is too big. But
Definitely.
their top end is good enough. Your Anderson, Rout, Took, Ben King, Ballard. They've got wits. They've got enough, but yeah, their bottom end lets them down. But for me, there's just too many sides that you expect to be good.
Yeah.
They can't all be good. So I said, we always come back and say, I had 15 sides making the 8 in pre-season. But you can't expect all those sides that I named to be bad. And
Definitely.
I think they would have to be for Gold Coast to make it. But I do think they'd challenge.
All right. MRO, we've got to talk about them a little bit. Now, we're just going to rattle off some incidents over the last 2 weeks. And we're not talking about what we think they should get. We're just going to give out the week that they've been given. Some have been finalised. And we're going to say, in the context of this season and how the tribunal's been handing out sentences, is it good? Is it
consistent?
Is it consistent?
Because that's all we ask. Is we don't have to agree with things. We ask for consistency. I talk about it all the time. The deliberate rule. We don't love it, but we know it's consistent. They pay it all the time. So we're happy as fans. We can accept it. So all we want to see is we want to accept. All we can do is hope that the MRP is consistent.
Yep, definitely. Toby Nankervis, 3 weeks. Happy? Not happy?
Happy. Same as DeGoey. I'm happy with 3 weeks. Yeah. We did think it should have been 4 though, didn't we?
I'm not happy. I reckon it should be 4.
But I think it is. Last week I said it wasn't the same. The more I look at it, the more I think it is pretty similar to DeGoey's. So you got similar weeks to DeGoey. So I've kind of backtracked a bit on that.
Nah, I haven't backtracked on that.
But you reckon it's different to DeGoey? They both run past the footy and both bump.
Yeah.
They both run past footy, both bump, both concussed.
Nankervis was more blatant than, in my opinion, that it was more. I know they both chose to bump, but I feel like Nankervis really was. He really lined him up from a long way away, 3 or 4 steps away, and went for it. Whereas I think DeGoey was a bit more
instinctive.
Yeah, a bit more instinctive.
Yep.
Rampy 2 weeks on McLean, I think his name is, from the Dogs, off the ball, got delayed concussions later. 2 weeks, happy. See, we watched this before on the podcast.
Yes.
It's a real grey one.
Because Swans say in this quote I read here that it was an accident. It wasn't an accident. I think he beelined him a little. Beelined is a strong word because a lot of people say he was trying to body check a bit, trying to check his run.
Yeah.
I do think he veers off his line enough to bump for that to be considered a bump, but it wasn't as forceful as the guy he won in Nankervis. So I'm happy with a week less than what they got. Yep, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with this. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as you may not have wanted to hit him high, same as DeGoey and Nankervis, but you've hit him high and you chose to bump. So unfortunately for that,
I'm happy with that amount of weeks. That I do think it wasn't as forceful and as clear cut bump as the other two, but it was the same sort of result. So I think it deserves similar weeks.
Jordan Boyd from Carlton. Straight to tribunal, so that's assuming 3 or plus. We haven't got a verdict. I think it's tonight. It's being held, but assuming 3 or 4. Dump tackle on Darcy Burn-Jones. Delayed concussion a couple of quarters later, I think. Happy with that? It's hard to say because 3 or 4. But
we're going to disagree. I'm happy with that.
With 3 or 4.
Oh, should not be 4. There's no way that tackle is similar to Nathan Broads. We always mention Nathan Broads when that was in round 1, so maybe that's a bit unfair to keep mentioning that.
But it's a marker for that.
Yes, I'm seeing Nathan Broads as this is the worst one, and we grade it based on that one. Which maybe that's the wrong way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think based on what we've seen from other ones, like Zach Merritt's another one. They got a week. I think this is 3 weeks seems stiff though. Gee, I'm thinking you see my brain's thinking over live on air. No, I'm happy. Yep. Not 4 though. Happy with 3.
Yeah, it's definitely not 4. I'm happy with 3, but to be honest with you, with the Butler situation, why doesn't he get off? So it's a bit of a tough one there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yep. Really undecided with that one. Rochelle 2 weeks with the little punchy to jump.
Was it the punch that kind of landed, kind of didn't? Was
yeah,
right?
like
because he got cited 3 times. So I'm trying to think.
It was the
I
one where
he saw the punch one.
Dragged someone down, then Buckley came over, and then he
tries to throw and he kind of grazes him
neck area.
So was that 2 weeks?
Yeah, that was. I think that was the 2. Yes.
But yep, as we're about to talk about with a certain Richmond player in a moment, yes, when you purposely throw a punch, you deserve weeks. So yes.
Yeah, that's the most intentional thing you can do. So 2 weeks, I'm happy with. Caleb Sarong from last week against Carlton, the dump tackle, not really dump tackle, but like almost like picked him up and put him on his head, but not really.
Yep.
I don't know how to explain that.
Happy. I think we've seen. There's no stat. I saw a stat like a month ago that barely anyone's got off challenging 1 week suspensions for dangerous tackles. He didn't get off either. So yep, happy.
Has anyone got off from challenging a 3-week suspension?
No.
Dan Butler.
It was easy.
He was straight to Tyre Brunel. He was straight to...
Yeah, okay.
So it's 3 weeks. So how the hell does someone not get off in 1 week but get off from 3?
Yeah, okay. Well,
Like it can only get 3.
Give a scenario though.
How can it go from 3 weeks? This penalty should be 3 weeks to none.
But technically, the tribunal isn't 3 weeks. It's seen to be that if you get suspended, you will get 3. But it wasn't like he's not given 3 yet.
But how is so the?
I can see where you're seeing with this though. But no, I think the 1 week is deserved because you see the amount of 1 week suspensions that haven't got off for the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's consistent. I'm happy with that. But I do understand what you're saying though.
Yeah,
because
how can you go from 3?
If Butler got found guilty, it would have been 3 weeks. So,
and then he doesn't.
No, I get you
something.
saying. I get what you're saying.
All right. Yeah, I'm happy with 1 week too. In the context of the season, I'm happy.
Correct. Yes.
Dusty, just a fine. Alex with an elbow.
Do you get a fine?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got like rough contact, $1,500 or whatever. Chump change.
That is literally he probably poos that out. Yeah, he uses that to wipe his bum.
Happy with this for the context of the season. I haven't really seen this match actually. To be fair, I'm happy with it for the context of the season, but I'm not happy with it if I am the MRP. It's a week definitely easy.
Absolutely, it should be. And this is not even a this season issue. This is a basically forever thing. Is because it was a hard punch, he doesn't get a week. That is a strike. He hit him. It wasn't hard, yes, but we are trying to. Maybe it's an easy argument to say we're trying for kids watching the game. We're trying to stamp out that purposeful strike. He hit him.
100%.
It's soft, and he gets a week. Richmond fans are like, it's so AFL's gone soft, and maybe I'm being soft. He punched him.
Nah, you're not. No, it's
Rochelle
right.
barely touched him and got 2 weeks for that was a more of a round as opposed to an elbow. But Rochelle barely touched him. He got 2 weeks as he should. A purposeful. He punched him on purpose.
Yeah, totally agree. And like, yes, people say you go on soft, but like a football act, like De Goey's trying to put pressure on, chooses a bump, 3 weeks. Nankervis was trying to put pressure on 3 steps later, then chose the bump. But these are at least in a football sense. This is just blatantly off the ball. Nothing's going on. You've just elbowed him. Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't be just elbowing people out of nowhere in no sort of football context or has anything to do with football. Like, it's just should be wiped out. Like, we want to wipe out the sling tackle. Like, this has nothing to do with our game or should be in our game at all. So, yeah, should be at least a week, in my opinion. So, all right, perfect. We got through them somewhat clean.
Somewhat.
We wanted them to be short and sharp. It ended up taking us 8 minutes. That's all right. This round was a big round. We're going to preview this round. Do you want to do winners, losers, or do you want to just talk through the round?
When are we talking about the playoff thing?
We'll do that after this.
Do it after, okay.
After this. Give me a winner. Give me your winner for the week.
Okay. I had this planned. Okay, I'll do it. His family, Angus, who's gonna be grinning from ear to ear. I don't like this team, but I gotta give them the plaudits when they deserve it. It's Carlton. Now I will die on this hill when I say Port were due a loss. I don't care that I might sound biased. Port were due a loss, but when you beat a side like Carlton beat Port, there's no excuse. Fair enough. Like,
yep.
They were too good. But
points.
they didn't just beat Port. They absolutely smacked them.
Oh, yeah. The 50 points is flattering to
Smacked them. Like, I don't think there was a quarter where Port was a better side. They dominated.
No.
Carlton fully deserved the win, especially with Harry Mackay going down the first quarter. Interesting dynamic there. Their forward line looked really good. I'm not saying they're good without Mackay. I'm not saying that because it's only a small sample size. But I liked Kuno close to the goal. But yeah, for me, Carlton massive. And Are they officially back? Now, we'll say, I got a message from Emily that night saying, lid is fucking off. I was like, okay, maybe it's a little bit premature. But, yeah, wow. They
look very good.
I think they make the 8 from here, personally. I just think their run home is pretty soft. If they beat Collingwood,
West Coast, don't they? Yeah.
If they beat Collingwood, they are in the 8. They will make it, I can guarantee you.
It's so hard to say they're going to make it because I don't know who's
You don't know. As we're going to talk about with Adelaide later on. Adelaide are in 12th. I didn't even realise they were 12th until I was looked.
But one game, though.
Exactly right. I think it was it Geelong and Essendon, they switched spots in one game by playing each other?
Essendon's playing the Dogs this week.
So it's mental. So it's impossible. But with Carlton's run home is pretty soft. Yeah. So if they were to take the scalp of Collingwood, which they're not expected to win, I think they will make the 8 from there.
Totally agree with you there. Carlton look a lot better. They've talked about their chat and talkie, but just system-wise, they seem like they're always trying less, and it means that they're working together. Instead of trying to do everything individually, they're trying to do everything as a team, and so it just looks so much more cohesive. They're not kicking the ball early out of stoppages so that they can get to the ball, like the small forwards can get to the ball, like all those type of things. They're just clicking at the moment with all that. I want to bring up the other side of the coin, Port Adelaide. They obviously had the bye only 2 weeks ago. That was the last bye. Now they've gone and rested 7 players this week against Carlton. Mm-hmm. And guess who they got next week? Collingwood at Adelaide Oval. What happened last time Collingwood Port Adelaide played?
Collingwood won by 70-something points.
Do you think they rested all 7 players that were probably sore?
Yeah, they were
to give them 2 weeks rest to come back in and beat Collingwood. And I want to preface this. I think they have. And I think if they lose on Friday night, I think it's Friday night game at Adelaide Oval,
Saturday.
This could be the worst loss of the year for any team.
The worst of any team.
You have pinpointed Collingwood and said, we're going to win that game. 2 weeks after having the bye, when you've had 2 weeks off, you gave 7 players another 2 weeks off just to beat Collingwood on your home turf. And if you go lose to them, I think that's big. And you've lost this game by a lot. So to win one, you may lose 2 games and get belted by Carlton by 50 points.
That's a big call.
But is it not right? I'm not right. Wrong.
The problem is they've rested very average players. So that's what makes me
It's not very average.
What? None of those players were great, though.
Charlie Dixon, Jason Orr-Francis are quite important.
They were listed as injured. So you question...
If all 7 come back in this week...
All 7?
Yeah.
It's a big call. It is definitely, I think, there's some merit in the fact that, there's every chance they might have had one eye towards the Collingwood game early. But say it's the worst one of any team. You're
loading up on this one thing, and if you don't win, when Collingwood's played all season long, they've played with injured players like Brandon Maynard, does that not just dent your confidence that, say, on our home deck, after we rested and circled that game, we still can't beat them?
It's risky. It's risky because this is a game the ladder says they should have won it, and they didn't. I know Carlton are probably playing better footy than 11th or 12th where they were at. But now they've got a tough run. I'll have to get up now. But they play Collingwood this week, as we know. They play... Actually, I don't want to say it in case I'm wrong. They play... Pardon me. So they play Collingwood. They play a showdown, which showdown's always close. Yeah. Geelong at the Cattery.
Not easy.
The Giants. Now, Giants at home, but the Giants are playing some good footy. Freo in Perth. They should win that, but it is in Perth. And then they finish Essendon. Oh, sorry, it's not Essendon. Richmond. So that is...
Not an easy run home.
I don't think any of those games are guaranteed from here on.
They're all teams that could finish in the top 8.
So they lose to Collingwood here, and then they got a showdown, which is about always a flip of a coin. Yeah. That could be 3 losses in a row, and then playing the Geelong at the Cattery. Like, it could spiral.
And it could be just to beat Collingwood, to be honest with you. If all those ins come back in, it could have just been to beat Collingwood.
Yeah.
This is... Yeah. It's nice edge type of shit, in my opinion.
It is risky. No, I see what you're saying. I'm not sure I agree they were all rested, but I can definitely see there's merit in it. Because,
only 2 weeks ago,
a lot of players injured at once.
Only 2 weeks ago, they spent 2 weeks from a bye.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you come from. But it's a lot of outs at once. So
it is a lot of outs at once.
We'll see if they all come back. They all come back, well, then you might mount something.
All right, love it. My win of the week is the Demons. We have talked about them as a team that can't score. They went and scored about 28 points in... It was really about 12 minutes of...
They kicked the first 5 goals. I think it was. Was it 5 or 4?
I'm talking about the last at the end.
Oh, the end.
Well, they kicked 5
goals. They started off, it was like 32 to 1 or something.
I think they did. And then they steamrolled home too. They middle 2 quarters, they couldn't kick for shit. But
Yeah.
I mean, for a team that only scored 48 points against GWS up in Alice Springs, and they only scored 40 points last week, to score 105 just like that.
Remember the stat? I think it was. I said some stat last week. They had 7 games in a row not scoring 80 points.
Yeah, and they've just got 105, and in 20 minutes of footy, so the first 10 and the last 10, they scored 40 points.
Yeah,
that's incredible. So they're my win of the week. Doesn't put them back on the mountain, but it definitely gives me a bit more confidence to trust them again. Because I was losing confidence. I don't know about you.
No,
like they were separating from Port and Collingwood.
Their defense still scared me, but their offense was so bad that I just couldn't see them. I think I talked about. I couldn't see them kicking a winning score 3 times in finals. So we have to talk about the Brody Grundy thing.
Yep, I was going to say.
Because Max Gawn was superhuman, and as we've become accustomed to over the past few years, I think it was 29 touches, 38 hitouts, did everything. Meanwhile, Grundy played forward in the scratch match in the AFL. So I don't know how that goes. I do think Grundy comes back in. I just can't see them leaving him out for the rest of the season.
No, it's hard to tell.
I can't see them leaving out a $1 million player. But Gawn was so good that I just don't think they can justify Grundy playing ruck again. Agree, so if Grundy comes in, it'll be to play forward.
Pure forward.
Not sure how that goes because Van Ruin has shown signs. Pardon me.
And he's got
Ben
no
Brown.
ruck craft. Absolutely no ruck.
Forward craft.
Yeah, forward craft.
Yeah, so I think he comes back in, but I'm not sure it's a great idea. But Gawn was different. And D's bold to play Petrarca in forward line again. So it's easy to do that against St Kilda when they're not going to score. To do it against the Lions, when it's easy to throw him back in the midfield, but that's 8 goals in 2 games. It's been weird though that he played 75% for. Someone made it work today. So basically, the whole season with Oliver in, he's playing 75% midfield, basically 80% midfield. Oliver goes out, and now they decide to play him forward.
Well, I think Bailey Fritsch hasn't helped it, and just
Bailey Fritsch is probably the one. Yeah, true.
The genuine we can't score for a month. It's like okay, now we have to put him forward.
Yeah, you're right. It was probably the Bailey Fritsch thing.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens when Oliver comes back.
I reckon it'd be good to see him play more forward, even when Oliver's in.
I agree. Even if it's like 60-40, 65-35.
Yeah.
Because their midfield, I think, is good enough to go without him at times. I
think Viney can step up his role. If Petrarca's in the forward line, I feel like Viney can do a good enough job. Plenty good enough. He's very good.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they have to play all 3 of them. I know it's awesome to have that luxury, but
correct. Yep.
Totally agree. Brisbane Lions, on the other hand,
I don't think they're a loser. I'm content with the Brisbane because they played well. No, I think the hoodoo lives on, but they were good. They did enough to win. It took Max Gawn's superhuman performance. It took Petrarca kicking 4 goals. It took a lot for Melbourne to run over the top late. It is a concern they faded out again against Melbourne. The light situation earlier on probably is a bit of an anomaly, but I'm honestly happy with Brisbane. I think they showed enough that they be confident they could beat Melbourne at the G in finals. I'm happy with them. I'm fine with that. I think if they lost that game by
they were up by 24 points with time.
Yeah, they should have won. You're spot on. They were 4 goals up with 7 minutes to go. They should have won.
As a final
but they didn't.
side,
They did everything but win the game. So I'm happy with it. They showed enough. Oliver was out, but so was Dunkley. So that evens out. I'm happy with it. That I think they showed enough that they'll be like, you know what, MCG, not an issue. We can beat Melbourne at the G again. But yeah, I'm honestly fine. But I understand that they lost, but I'm looking past the loss.
I'm not really looking at the. I'm just saying you're 4 goals up with 7 minutes to go.
I should have won. Yeah, of course I should have.
If you're a top 4, so if you want to be a premiership side, close it out.
Of course.
Close it out.
Spot on.
Find a way to close it out.
Of course.
So
no, spot on.
It's a real dint, but it's one they can work out.
I think they did enough that they can not treat it as a win because they lost, but they can be like, we did enough at the G to not be so worried about it. But it is another loss to add to the psyche. I get that. But no, I'm happy with Brisbane, personally.
Loser?
Oh, who's my loser? I think there was 2 teams I was going to decide between. Do you want to take your boys or Adelaide?
You take my boys.
Yeah, okay. Bulldogs. They weren't the biggest. They weren't my biggest loser. Probably my second biggest loser. You'll say my biggest one in a sec. But for me, it comes down to how bloody inconsistent are the Bulldogs.
Yep, totally agree.
Literally 2 weeks ago, or was it a week ago? We thought they were better than Melbourne. A lot of people thought they were getting close to Melbourne. I wouldn't say better than. People were like, I reckon Bulldogs were challenging for the 4th spot. Because Melbourne were playing badly. Bulldogs had shown stuff. And then they go and do that. Like Sydney were the better team for most of that game. As for the first quarter, in my opinion. And Sydney deserve to win. And it just, I like that drop lob. I want to get your thoughts on that one. That they drop lob. So I like that. But Bailey Smith, I know he was out sick, but get him on the bloody wing, Fletch. What are you doing with him playing forward? He's going to leave and join another club, and he's going to be so good. I hope he goes to Collingwood and plays on the wing and takes the piss. I don't like him, but I know he's good at footy. So, yeah, Bulldogs just...
The only argument I got against that is the final series 2021, he kicked 7 goals in the role he's playing right now.
He's playing half forward, Fletch.
That's what he was playing
against Collingwood. He had 6 touches in 3 quarters.
Okay, I'm not arguing that. But in the final series, through 4 games, he kicked 7 goals playing the exact role he's playing right now. So I do get what people are saying, but at the same time, look at what he's done in that role, and he's been very good. I'm not disagreeing with him playing the wing. I hope the squeeze doesn't happen. It happened to Lipinski. I hope it doesn't happen to him because he's different.
I'd take him at Collingwood. I know he's kicking issues, but my God, he's going to be a gun wherever he goes.
Yeah. And
I think I was talking to a mate about it at work today. We were running through what sides he gets into their midfield. So what sides does he play midfield for? I think you can make a case for Collingwood. You can.
Nah, not Collingwood.
I think with Pendles getting old, I think he walks in and hits Pendles.
That's different. But right now, if you're telling me tomorrow, not Collingwood.
I think he plays in Ports. I think he plays I think he plays in Ports. Wines kind of plays on the wing now. It's weird. Plays in Geelongs.
Plays in Melbourne. He count the wing as a midfielder.
Oh, yeah. Because Collingwood, he walks on the wing. He plays wing Collingwood.
Yeah. If you count the wingers, then I think he still walks on the Dogs. Walks in the Dogs.
But he's not playing the wing for him. So like Melbourne, I think he plays midfield. I think there's, say 4 mids. So there's Oliver, Petrarca, Viney, him.
First rotation.
St Kilda, yes, they need someone quicker.
Yes.
I'm running through the ladder, by the way. Geelong, yes. Essendon, yes. Giants, yes. Oh, they've got Callahan on the wing. I don't know. Carlton, probably not.
No.
I think Sam Walsh kind of same player.
Yeah.
Richmond, yes.
Oh.
Yes, but they've got Cochin playing. Cochin's going to retire at the end of the year.
True, but I just think the Bolton Martin minutes too.
Adelaide would desperately need him. They need someone else. Gold Coast would. Gold Coast, he'd be the 4th mid. So it'd be Anderson, Rao, Took, him. But they've only got 3 mids, so he has to play mid. Sydney, no.
No.
Freo, yes. Hawthorn, yes. And then obviously there's rubbish. So he gets into most sides' midfields. And I understand the Bulldogs are a very good midfield side, although they have got deficiencies. He's too good at playing half forward. He plays mid or wing on every single other side in the AFL. Every side.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'd like to see him more on the wing. He's a gut runner, gets out the miles. I would love to see him on the wing a little bit more. I think he can run defensively enough to do that. He's definitely attacking enough to play on the wing. If that makes sense.
He's got kicking issues, but I think he's so the game's getting quicker. He's so penetrating with his kick. He's really quick. I think he'd be the perfect wingman or midfield in every side in the AFL. So, yes, I think you are. I do like the compared to Lipinski that you dealt with missing a player. Lipinski's one thing. He's a role player. He's not going to be a star. You lose Bailey Smith, who a year or two ago, pardon me, was going to be a star. So
even before this month, he was averaging 29 touches. So
I'm a little bit concerned. You're right. There's a few rumours circling. Port Adelaide, Collingwood.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, in my opinion. But he is openly denied that he's not going. But where there's smoke, there's fire.
Gee, Collingwood or Port Adelaide are coming in saying, you will play on the wing, you will play midfield, ahead of playing half forward for a worse side. I think he's saying yes to that just quietly. But
he's not
who knows? Yes. But he's too good.
I reckon he's more likely to go down to Cattery, get away from the media. Get away with
Cattery would be elite for him. That'd be scary for Geelong. Right?
I don't actually want that to happen.
No, no one wants it to happen. No one.
Totally agree. The Dogs, that's a big swing. The bottom of the pallet. Did you see that final siren?
No.
When the final siren, they went to Luke Parker, I think, and then Bont's in the background throwing his mouth guard on the ground. Totally summed up the reason. Totally summed up what's going on. That's just a must win for the context of the season. Yep. You win that game instead of being in the logjam, especially with all these results. You're 1 game clear. You're 1 game behind Melbourne. So much better situation. I think you're actually on the same points as Melbourne and 1 game clear the rest. Instead, you lose that and you've got a hard game against Essendon this week. So, shocking in my opinion. So, brings up great questions about Luke Beveridge, which I think we'll be answering later this year, which will be interesting. My lose of the week, Crom. pretty easy.
Yes.
Up by whatever points in that.
They were 17 points up at three-quarter time and lost by 14.
And to be honest with you, the third quarter, they shouldn't even been up. Because from half-time, GWS dominated that game, in my opinion. They led a lot of inside 50s, but it felt like GWS always had control of the game. GWS backline, hey, give it to them. They conceded the most inside 50s in the competition in the last 4 weeks, and they've conceded the least amount of score.
They're generally one of the best in the comp. Like,
I don't know if it's a good thing that they're allowing the inside 50s, but they're not conceding from
Not
them.
the defence's fault.
No, it's definitely not.
But yeah, they're generally one of the best defense in the comp. And other than Sam Taylor, there's no household names. Sam Taylor's the only, even then, I think you want to mention him. We talked before the podcast that he's not getting enough credit. He's the only one that people would know.
Definitely. And Connor Iden, fantastic. If he was similar to Isaac Quain, if he was at Collingwood, getting the same recognition as Collingwood. I know Collingwood's a lot further up the ladder, but
Jack
Buckley's another one that's really coming along nicely. They're building from the back, and it looks solid, scary and solid.
And the fact that Nick Haynes is he was a sub a week or two ago, so he's a former Australian or around the mark.
Yeah, it was.
So they're doing it by committee. Riley likes that statement. They're doing it by committee. That Giants are a big win. But for me, the reason why Adelaide was such a big loser is 2 weeks ago I had them as the fifth best side in the comp. So we would call it our top 5 power ranking. I had them as the fifth best side in the comp, and now they are 12th. And serious jeopardy. I think right now, I'd love to see what the odds are. Right now, I'd have them missing the 8. And 2 weeks ago, I had them as the fifth best side. That's
not easy.
That's how crazy our season has been. That I think Richmond, Carlton, Giants all playing better footy than them. Yep. So I can't see how they get in. So that's how unreal our season's been. But yeah, at home playing in an 8-point game
after losing the week before,
that makes them a big loser. Yep,
yeah, massive loser, and they crying out for another midfielder to just step up because it was Dawson and that was it. Like Laird wasn't even stepping up.
So they need one more gun. Like Keys is solid, but they need one more gun mid.
And their forward line went. I know it's hard when you start losing. It's always a forward line that then starts not playing as well. But obviously because you don't get the ball down as much. But
it's dropped off.
It's dropped off. Tex Walker's not quite as imposing.
If Tex doesn't kick a bag, they struggle. And I haven't got the stats behind it.
He didn't have a touch in the second half.
Didn't he?
He didn't have a touch. Sam Taylor didn't let him have a touch.
Wow.
So that's incredible. And then a Phil Thorpe just is not imposing himself on the contest at all.
He's playing a weird role. Like it's hard. It's always hard when you're playing almost that third tall. I know he's second tall behind Fogarty, but I think they target Fogarty more almost. But no, he's not doing enough. And yeah, I think for me, if Tex isn't dominating, they're struggling. And
definitely.
So that forward line that we've been lauding all season has definitely come back to the pack.
They seem so potent, but they don't seem to produce every time.
Nope.
I don't know if it's a ball movement or what, but yeah, they're an interesting one.
Yep.
All right, winners and losers is done. What is there any other games you want to talk about?
No, I think that was pretty much all Richmond had to do. North Melbourne Hawthorn was
Geelong, a little one.
Yeah, I was going to mention Geelong because you want to talk about Geelong
a little bit, yeah. Not too much because they get too much talking.
Yes, and I think that's the basis for what you want to say is that all of a sudden out of nowhere these cats are all of a sudden the danger. Chris Scott labelled his own side the danger. What are your thoughts?
They're a team I wouldn't want to verse in the finals, but I don't think they're anywhere near going to win a premiership.
Near? Like you've ruled them out. You are confident. Take to the bank, Fletcher. They're not going to win the flag.
Not take it to the bank. 70%. So, well, actually, I'd probably go. They're not going to get 15 wins, and only one team in the last 20 years since 2000 has won without 15 wins. One team, 2002 Brisbane Lions. So technically, if you don't win 15 games, you don't win the premiership.
What about the Dogs in 16?
They won 15 games.
Did they?
Yeah,
wow,
they won 15 games. So. Yeah, that's I heard that stat on during the week on Triple M, and I'm just like, well, there's literally only 3 teams who get 15 wins this year. I don't think Melbourne will even get 15 wins.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Collingwood, Port Brisbane.
Yeah,
Melbourne will be touch and go.
So really, that's only 3 teams who can win it. But
that's just how good this season's been, man.
I guess you could say that I can lock in Melbourne Geelong not winning the premiership, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. But this is a good win. But this is against a young side at the Cattery. We know the Cattery is a 6-goal head start. Well, then
Alphabet Stadium is a 6-goal head start.
Well, then Essendon took it literally and let them score 31 before they even scored.
They literally we'll give you a head start. We'll catch up from here.
They were very good and they're very potent and they're back 6 back together. But I don't think they win a premiership. they might make a win here and there, but they cannot win the ball for shit, in my opinion. They have no ball winners. If it's danger, it's nothing. So Max Shane was good. But the media talk about they're the team to come out of outside the top 3 to win the premiership. No, sorry. I'm sorry.
Enough. No, it's fair enough. And I guess we find it hard not to look at last season and like, they won the flag, so they're gonna have to be good. They were good last finals. They have to be good this finals. Lots changed. Joel Selwood has changed. He's not there anymore, and he is. I think he's so. And if we had Riley on, he would talk about how important a player he'd be. He is or was. Hawkins looks good again, which is scary.
Yeah.
And Cameron will find form again. He was not. Cameron's been quiet before he got injured or concussed, and so he'll find form again. So them two flying.
Don't worry about them two.
No one wants to play them in finals.
No.
But their midfield is not the level that we've come to expect, and I think that will hurt them.
Last year, their midfielder was good, and it kept them in games, and then their forward line defense just blew teams out.
Yeah.
Whereas this year they're getting beat around the middle. They won the middle this game. That's why they whacked the team. But they're not. No offense, Essendon, but that's a young core growing, going down to the category. That's hard. That's probably the hardest trip in football, apart from maybe West Coast back in 2020.
No.
But like,
no, I agree.
So it's a bad loss.
We're scared of them, but the sudden hype around Geelong is weird.
And this happened before in the middle season when they had a good run. Sudden hype about Geelong, and then it tails off. And then the sudden hype. So
we'll see.
It's an interesting one, but
there's still 6 weeks to go.
There is a lot.
Danger gets injured next week, and all of a sudden, no one's talking about Geelong again. So obviously, the last thing we want is anyone getting injured.
Yeah.
But there's so much to happen that I think that you can't be saying that we are the danger. You're the danger now. In 4 weeks' time, you'd be the danger. Who knows? But
it feels like they're so on knife edge because one injury.
Who knows?
All right. Today there was a little bit of a news. They're having a meeting tonight over the next couple of days at the Werribee Mansion or something like that. Sounds great. Sounds like the AFL funds are going to good things.
Yeah.
There's a possible play-in tournament. Now, I've looked at some... I don't know if they're actual official ideas of how it would work, but there's a few floating around. It seems like a bit like the NBA play-in tournament. It seems like they're nabbing that idea. Do you like this?
We don't know each other's thoughts. We're opposite. I love it.
Oh, we're opposite.
Love it.
Opposite.
No-brainer. It is a no-brainer, Fletch. He's an absolute... Good. We're going to have a debate. I'm glad. I was hoping you were wrong.
No.
We're going
I'm wrong.
No, I'm hoping we were opposite. Sorry. I hope you're opposite. We're going to structure this like a debate. How long we got? I'll present an argument. You present an argument. I've got multiple arguments here.
I don't have multiple. I have one big one.
Okay.
That'll knock yourself
Well, I'll go first then. The first reason why I think this is an absolute no-brainer is momentum at the end of the season. Now, momentum at the season is really important and it keeps sides in the hunt. So, now this can also be used as a negative. But you think back to last season. Collingwood Carlton, the final day of the season. Carlton lose in the last minute. All the hype around the AFL that, Western Bulldogs had to play a basic elimination final. They got in on the last day. And Carlton missed out on the last day. That's sort of hype that only the Premier League emulates because they all play at the same time. We got all this built up like excitement, and then we go to having a week off footy because of a bye.
Okay, I'll rebut to that. Totally agree that there shouldn't be a week off of footy. There shouldn't be.
You reckon there should be no bye at all? So you're happy with sides resting, if McRae goes out and then rests 17 players in the last round?
Totally fine with it. Have you put yourself in the position to do that?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, so you're just opposed to having no bye in general.
Yeah, you've set up your season early enough to do whatever you want with your football side.
Okay. Yeah.
And you go with it and do it your way. If that makes sense. You've won games early enough in the season that you don't need to have a bye. You just can rest on the last day because it doesn't worry your later position.
I don't hate that opinion either. I'd probably tend to agree with that opinion. But right now we're speaking as if there is a bye, which there is.
Yeah.
I think momentum's important. I also think it keeps sides in the hunt. And this can be used as a negative because you can easily make the case that this is just a way to get keep big clubs involved for longer.
Totally.
Because you've got your Carlton and your Richmonds, the 10th and 11th. So there's a good chance that both of them don't make finals.
Yep.
Now, obviously, this is not going to be this year, but hypothetically. But even look down to Sydney in 14th. Sydney playing, people would say they're playing close top 8 footy right now, but they're in 14th. They're not going to make up 2 wins plus percent. Oh, their percentage is pretty good, but there's a good chance they don't make up 2 wins and they don't make the 8. But all of a sudden they think, oh, we're going to have to get to 10th. That's only one win. So keep sides like Sydney, even Freo, we still got something to play for because we only have to get to 10th. We don't have to get to 8th. So I like it that you could also make, so you can make the case that, well, you deserve to be on the hunt because you've been shit for so long. But I like that you keep sides on the hunt because at the moment, if we were playing it this season, the only sides that can't make the top 10 from here, Hawthorn, West Coast, North. Freo's on 7 wins. 10th is 8 wins. There's only one game off it. So it keeps it interesting.
I'll rebut against that. I'm pretty much saying the argument that you said in that statement. You didn't play good enough footy for long enough.
Yeah.
So bad luck. And I like that this sport, we don't have there's 18 teams. We don't have 9 get in. So you have to work 50% of the games. You have to win over 50% of your games to get into the finals, technically. Whereas like NBA, teams under 500 make it. It's kind of like, you didn't even have a winning season. How did you get a shot at making the grand final? So I like that. What would the setup be? 6v10?
7v10, 8v9. You don't do 1 week. You couldn't do 2 weeks like that. You couldn't do 2 games like the NBA.
Is it just you get knocked out?
Yep. 7v10, 8v9. That's what I think. That's the only thing it could be because you can't have 2 weeks of this.
Yeah, it's too long to have 2 weeks. And that's where I kind of think, like, if you're... This year, 10 to 6 isn't a big difference. But maybe next year it's a big difference. I don't see... I think last year was a fair difference. Apart from Carlton, no one else could make it. If you're 2 or 3 games behind, you shouldn't even have the opportunity to maybe...
I get that.
Like, maybe if you're the same percentage, go for it, have a playoff. But...
I get that.
If you're a game or 2 behind, you shouldn't even have the opportunity to maybe snare one and get a win.
7th could say, well, we finished 2 games better than you in 10th. Why are you even a chance?
Yeah.
I think that'd be most people's opinion if they're against this would be that reason. I think it'd be that reason.
If a percentage? Yeah, I can understand it.
But yeah, 2 games I get. Because right now the gap's only one game, but this season is so rare.
Yeah.
That you have a 2-game gap between
like
5th
17.
and 15th. That's not going to happen again. But one more thing that I want to mention. Right now, the pre-finals bye has 0 games. And we obviously know the AFL don't want 0 games because money. So that's why the buys are over 4 weeks. So I think what solves that issue is all of a sudden you do this playoff thing. There's 2 games to talk about on the Friday night. But this is kind of add on to what I said first point about momentum. Is all of a sudden, basically after that massive Collingwood-Carlton game, there was 11 days of no footy.
Yeah.
So that the first 2 days of the week, you're talking about the round's gone. Then you got nothing to talk about for a week until the next week comes along, and then that's when you can start previewing finals. I think having this keeps momentum up and it gives fans something to be excited about, that all of a sudden these cutthroat win-or-go-home games are much-watched TV. So I do see your point in there shouldn't be a buy in general, and a separate issue. And I do tend to agree that, if you're Collingwood finished on top, they deserve to do whatever the hell they want. AFL obviously don't want... Just wouldn't call it tanking, but they don't that management of players.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's no-brainers because I think having footy on that week is paramount, because right now it's a dead week. There's nothing. You don't think about footy for a whole week, and you want it to be a build-up.
I agree with that statement there. That either get rid of the bye or put a game in there. I just don't think that that's the right game. But I do agree with you there that it's dead. That week's dead, as you said. The momentum just stops, and then you have to start that again. Imagine last year went straight into it after Collingwood beat Carlton, and then they lose to Geelong. How the fighting at households or at workplaces would happen instead of it's kind of stopping you. It's almost another season. But
I agree. So I think there needs to be at least some footy. But you're right, that the no buy thing I wouldn't hate either, because especially right now, it is a separate issue. But it basically, a side that wins the first week of finals, in the top 4, will play 1 game in 3 weeks. So then having this no buy opens the strategy can vary, because McRae doesn't like resting players. So obviously he won't rest anyone, but then Chris Scott might rest Danger. Yeah. And so it creates different scenarios. That some teams won't mind the 1 game in 3 weeks. Some will hate it.
Yeah.
But yes, I do think that I would like to see it. I think it adds excitement, but I do think that you do make a compelling case that, why should City still have a chance? They were shit for 13 weeks. Why should they have a chance now? They're all of a sudden good.
And it adds like it's so hard to win in that game. Like we got to be so honest. It's so hard to win. It's what Geelong has done for the last 20 years and consistently, or not 20 years, last 15 years, and consistently finished in the 8 or even in the top 4. That's just bloody hard. That is incredible. I think this tournament will take away from that because you'll maybe finish in 10th, then win a game. You're in the 8. You're in finals. We just slip that through, and in the record books, you just forget that it is bloody hard to make the 8 every year on year. Like,
all of a sudden 10 teams being rewarded, not 8 teams being rewarded.
Or like you're in 10th, but you win one game and that means you're in the 8 instead of winning the 2 or 3 during the season.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. And it's easy to look right now. Right now, it's the perfect scenario. But you're right. There's every chance next season there's only 11 teams, or 10 teams that are vying for that spot. And then all of a sudden it's almost like charity that the 10th makes it.
Yeah.
So, I get seeing. I'm still positive, but I can understand the reasons against it.
All right. We'll do some tipping / talking about the round in to come. So Thursday night footy's gone.
I hate
Thursday
this.
night.
Why? Why?
Friday night's back, or Friday night's the only one, and it's Essendon versus the Dogs. This is massive for
It's a great one.
Whoever wins, put themselves in a good position.
I think whoever wins makes the finals for sure.
I don't know Essendon.
Actually, no. I'm going to take that back. I'm taking that back because I need to forget that you don't have 15 sides making the 8, Tom. I think the loser puts himself at a severe risk.
They have to win it. Whoever loses this has to win every game from now on.
Yeah, your margin for error is so minor.
You pretty much can't, for anyone in that 8 that wants, in that like 7, if they lose one, they can only lose one game. And then from there on, they've got to win every single one.
Yeah.
From now on.
Yeah, this is going to be really good.
Who have you got? I'm going to go Dogs. I'm going to back up here. Doggies.
Essendon.
Like it.
Essendon for me.
They're dangerous. After a bad loss, Brad Scott will have them. So I'm a bit scared of them, to be honest with you. Richmond versus Hawthorn. Richmond.
Tigers.
Carlton versus West Coast. Carlton.
Carlton's VFL side. Would be.
Brisbane versus Geelong at the Gabba.
Why on earth is this 4:35? Put this on fucking Thursday night footy. Why is this at 4:30?
You could have talked about the games last week.
This is Collingwood Port's the best one. This is the second best game of the round. This is better than Essendon Bulldogs.
Yeah, definitely.
This is almost on par with Collingwood Port Adelaide, and it's at 4:35. Get this on Thursday night footy.
The real test for Geelong at the Gabba against Brisbane. We'll know where they're at after playing this game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Would you change your stance on Geelong if they win this one? You'd have to.
Probably would have to, wouldn't I? Brisbane at the Gabba. That's a big win. Yeah. I'd probably have to, yeah. I'm going to go with Brisbane.
Brisbane, yeah. That's at the Gabba. It'll be an absolute rip snort, but it'll be close. It'd be grass if a lot of people watched it. Not 4:35. No one's going to watch it. Stupid scheduling. You knew these sides were going to be good. Like, this is not like an Essendon resurgence where we didn't expect Essendon to be good.
Is that they put Essendon Bulldogs
or Port Adelaide one. We didn't expect Port Adelaide to be good. Like Brisbane.
This is the floating rounds.
Oh, true.
So this is like 5 weeks ago.
you knew 3 years ago Brisbane was going to be good. You knew 3 weeks ago. This is one of the dumbest things I've seen. But Brisbane, it'll be very close though.
Fremantle, Sydney, up the stadium.
Did we tip Collingwood or Port? We skipped that one, didn't we?
No, Fremantle.
Have you got different order?
I got all different order.
Fair enough. Because they're both 740, so Fletcher, you're forgiven. I think this fixture last year, Freo won. I remember I was presentation night at Cricket Club and we were watching it. Make that what you will. Freo. My boys.
Yeah, probably Freo.
Absolutely zero people watching this game.
Yeah, whoever wins absolutely can't make finals, and then whoever wins...
We can categorically say the loser cannot make finals.
But then the winner still probably can't make finals.
Literally, I think mathematically the loser can't play finals. Well, not mathematically,
probably
but
mathematically.
Basically, they'll be like a 0.0001 chance.
The round of the match of the round, the match. Yeah. Port Adelaide, Collingwood, Adelaide Oval.
Game. I already told the person I'm currently seeing that we are watching the footy, and I don't care. I'm not taking a date. We're going on the footy.
Going on the footy.
No, I'm taking the game next week. I already told her I'm watching the game. I don't care what we're doing. she actually listened to the podcast last week. She must be. Hello, Emily, if you're listening. Yeah, no, different Emily, but yes. Collingwood.
Upset for my tipping because I'm a long way behind Port Adelaide.
so am I. Literally, Maddie Sharples leads our tipping comp, and now I've got to water.
And
I
she's
don't
in
care
Canada.
anymore. I don't care anymore. I only care about beating Maddie. She went eeny, meeny, miny, moe on her tips and won. And she goes, now I don't care. I'm Collingwood, but gee, I'm scared.
If Port lose...
Collingwood wins, they've wrapped up the minor premiership.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be 2 games a percent.
Do you think they should be playing Brayden Maynard? He looks injured as.
No, yes, they should.
They should be playing
He's always injured. His shoulder's always cooked.
Fair enough. I just seemed more aggravated. I don't really know why you'd play him.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But he's going to be sore regardless.
But he saw in the first quarter, not after the game.
Yeah, but I did see those 2 tackles though.
Yeah. But why? If he injures himself just before
we should manage him at some point. So I'm not sure what our schedule is like. I know he played Carlton, Essendon, and Geelong. They're not games to rest him in. But no, I think he should play. He's missed a week. He's fine. He could play with no shoulders, mate. Doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Oh, well, when he does something bad, you can lose your finals hopes. I don't know.
He's a bull, mate. I told you, he can play with no shoulders.
GWS versus Gold Coast at the ACT, capital of Australia. Not really.
I was like, what are you talking about? But in Canberra, not Canada. Giants, but I mean, again, who's watching?
No one.
No one.
Giants. Melbourne, Adelaide. MCG.
This is a pretty good one.
This is important for Melbourne. For Adelaide.
Both sides.
This is important for Adelaide. Keep your finals behind if Adelaide.
Yeah, it's another test at the G. They passed the away test against Collingwood, but then they failed one recently. So, for me, I'm going to tip Melbourne. I think Max Gawn does whatever he likes again. Riley O'Brien is a stepladder in this game. Literally just bend over and I'll leap over your head.
I'm going with Melbourne too. St Kilda versus North Melbourne.
My God.
Ross Lyon was very strong about his word, so St Kilda needs to win this.
Well, they will. But remember last night, they played early in the season, and it was one of the worst games of the season. Only thing that made it only game worse was North and Hawthorn last week. So
what about Sydney versus West Coast?
No, yeah, but at least Sydney were kicking goals. This was the worst game of footy. St Kilda will win, but who cares?
Not you, apparently, because the way you're going.
I don't care.
Tell us about your Supercoach, Tommy.
Okay. Supercoach. So what a rough week, Supercoach.
Did you have a rough week?
No, just in general, I haven't been right then. But injuries. I'm not sure how you were injuries. I had to make 3 injury trades, and then had to still keep Dunkley. Do you have a lot of injuries?
I kept Dunkley, but other than that, I didn't.
You didn't have Tom Green?
No.
Darcy Cameron?
No.
Well, no one has Hayden Young, so I'm not going to ask you about that. But wow, I had to make 3 injury trades while keeping Josh Dunkley. But so it was a brutal week, and then scoring was rough. I had how many players I have under 100? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Johnson 7. Yeah, 9, 10 players under 100. So I think I was everyone, though, because I scored 23, 37 and went up by 100 spots, to my surprise. So, pretty happy. 2 trades left. Geez, we're about to find out who wasted their trades because more injuries are going to come. There's still 6 weeks left, and Marcus officially has 0 trades left.
Oh, no.
I've heard Brodie O'Donnell, shout out Riley's brother, who has officially quit Supercoach. He has no trades left. So, but yeah, let's find out who wasted their trades and who didn't. So I've got 2 trades left, but I've also got Seamus Mitchell and Johnson's cover. So Dunkley's confirmed return. Butters touch and go. So I would like to have Butters available, and then I'll be fielding a full strength side for the first time this season, despite having my team finish a few weeks ago. James Sicily came in this week, and he stunk. He got tagged. 58. So my pod, when I saw him, 58, I thought my week was done. So they've still got up by 100. I'm happy. But 3,000, ranked 3,500. Fletch?
This is the first time I checked it since I set my captain, but I just realised the person I was doing my captain loophole actually played. So that's
great. No, you ain't that issue.
So
was it Marich?
No, it was someone from Fremantle. I don't know who it is.
Corey Warner?
Yeah, that's the one.
Or C. Warner?
Yeah, Corey Warner. I had Bont too as a captain. I had Bont as vice, so 130 into 60, so it's not great there. But yeah, same thing, like Butters scored poorly, Caleb Daniels scored poorly, Jackson McRae scored poorly, Kieran Briggs scored poorly, Rowan Marshall stunk it up.
Yeah, wow.
So
that was a surprise.
Just be nice to have 1 week where everyone scores well. But I've got all the same players as everyone else, so it's kind of hard. I've got no pods.
That Warner one is a...
Jack Sinclair also.
Again, a lot of people have him, but yeah, there you go.
I think it's at like 222.
Okay.
So 2,200.
To have that, to have that with your captaincy issue, that's pretty good. Because all of a sudden,
it would have been nice to have a bit more.
All of a sudden, you add because he scored. I think Warner scored like 50 odd, 59.
59 compared to 131.
So all of a sudden, you're losing what's 131 divided minus 59. It's like 80 something. You're losing about 80 odd points. That's a fair bit. So, fair play. But yeah, what a brutal week. Hopefully, no injuries this week because. Yes, and you don't want to see Zach Merritt and Lockie Neal scoring 69 and 75. Sinclair
or
67.
Lockie Neal scoring 75.
I just said that, mate.
Oh, did you?
Listen. You're not listening. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully no injuries. And I was annoyed Ryan Marich played because I did not need his score, and he saved a lot of people from zero this week.
Yeah, that was me.
Like if he didn't play, I would have flown the rankings because I didn't need him. So thank you for that. You prick.
Sucked in.
But there you go. So, yeah, I'm happy. And you're...
Very happy. No, pretty happy. Dogs lost, so I'm not happy.
Didn't want to say it, but...
Another good episode.
Yeah, it was good.
Big week this week. That
was good fun.
It's going to be a finals 8 defining round this round, to me.
There's so many, even the rest of the season, there's so many. This season is unreal. Like
so good.
I didn't realise that there was 2 games separating 5th and 15th. Like,
that's just incredible.
That's mad. So we could not have asked for anything more, Fletch. And it begs the question we'll talk about in 5 weeks' time. We should have an EPL style. Everyone plays at the same time.
They need the money.
We'll talk about it in 5 weeks' time. But oh my God, you're telling me right now, when there is 7 sides that can still make the 8, 7 sides that are fighting for those last few spots, it would be the ultimate theatre.
It would be incredible.
But you're right, that money, because you want every game at the G, and you're going to have 1 game at the G. So I understand that it will never ever happen in a million years. But God, it's so nice to dream about.
Love it. Love your work, Tommy.
I love my work.
Jokes. Tell a friend.
Tell a stranger.
Tell a stranger.
I said I told my female.
That's not a stranger.
Pardon?
That's not a stranger.
Well, as of a week and a half ago, we were strangers.
Fair
so
enough.
I'll count that. But yeah. Have
a good week.
Randoms. And Riley, congratulations to Riley taking 6 for on the weekend.
And dropping.
Did drop the worst catch. I'm not asking if we can put that on the socials because it was the worst drop catch I've ever seen. Like it was the worst one. You picture like when you're playing catch with a 3-year-old and how you would lob it to them to try and catch it. The same thing happened to Riley when he was bowling and he dropped it. So, but he took 6 for. So
he'll love this.
He'll love it. So, and on the Ashes starting tomorrow too. So that's exciting.
Go the Aussies. Wrap it up.
Yeah,
Give us your prediction then.
I think it'll be a draw, which means Australia will retain the Ashes, which will be boring. I don't want Australia to retain. I want Australia to win it. But I think it might be a draw.
Fair enough.
Yes,
I'm not going to give you a prediction because I'm not very good at cricket. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. See you next time.
See you later.